What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Contractor Secrets Podcast. It is Mindset Monday, and today we got a power pack message from Alex and I, hammering out mindset, a foundational piece of your success as not only a business owner, but overall. I mean, I think there's so many more aspects to life than just business, and it's so important to have balance, and I think you're going to get a lot out of this one, as you hopefully always do. So thanks, guys, for checking this one out, and it starts right now. Contractors all over the world are wanting more time, more freedom, more impact. The way we do this is through implementing systems, processes, standards. Welcome to the Contractor Secrets Podcast. Here we hit business strategy, coaching, mindset, motivation, the tools you need for success. So strap in, listen up, and get ready to grow on the Contractor Secrets Podcast. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Contractor Secrets Podcast, Mindset Monday, with the man, the mindset legend, Alex Corral, bringing the heat today. Of course, Alex, happy to have you back. Sorry for the last episode. Horrible audio, but somehow the message came through, but not in the way that we would have preferred. But here we are. Hopefully it's a little bit better today.
Yeah, apologize about the audio. Me and Tanner, we both have things going on, but we still made the episode happen. In between what we were doing, unfortunately, through the car ride, the audio got a little messed up where the connection wasn't that great. But we're always gonna bring you the message so that you could be your best selves. Remember, highest frequency, energy, vibrancy, baby, no matter what. So that was the best we can give you. It's better than nothing, right? That's how I see it.
Absolutely, man. So let's talk about it, man. So we talked last week about the highway, which was a pretty good one, man. It was about identifying areas in your life that are these big milestones and putting them on a pedestal, right? And then keeping the focus so hard on these milestones, but kind of forgetting the journey to get there and appreciating that journey. And I think it was such a good episode because it really put things into perspective, not only about just the details of the journey, but what to be grateful for along the journey. You want to start there?
Yeah, well, one thing I would like, I delve deep into that personally. And just so everyone knows, me and Tanner are going through all we are talking to you guys about on a day-to-day basis. So, we're growing with this information. These are things, I'm giving you the newest golden nuggets that come into my epiphanies. So, you're going to see our growth, our experiences through this podcast and what our vibrancies and manifestations come to bring. And we'll bring you the lows and we'll bring you the highs. So I'm not trying to hide anything throughout this Mindset Mondays.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about mindset briefly in terms of like what I've been doing, because I actually just put out a little episode about my physical fitness journey and wanting to really turn that I should into I must, and that's a pretty hard transition to make. But the mindset throughout the week of making this changing bad habits, dude, is been a challenge. It's been one of those things where I'm like, dude, I don't even want to do this. I don't care what the outcome is. I don't even care because I'm not feeling it right now. How do you handle that, man, when you're in that mindset of like, I don't want to do what I need to do. I don't care about the outcome. I'll deal with it later.
So that's a big part of the mental evolution. And there's, you could go about it two ways. So there's a grind to it, right? There's people, you see them, oh, let's grind, let's go, let's do this. But I always try to elevate people's mindset when they're doing certain actions that they don't appreciate. Because however you do every task, every action in your life, you're building a habit to do things that way if you don't want to do them like later in life. So if you wake up and you don't want to, obviously you got to self-talk yourself and you got to say, hey, that this is just my mindset and my body at an autopilot telling me we don't get up at this time. We don't work out at this time. this isn't what we do. So you got to understand that, push it to the side, and then give yourself some positive feedback on why you're going to do the exercise, and then go and do it with joy. Obviously, every time it's a work in progress, right? You get, some days I work out and it's a struggle the whole workout. But through every workout, I try to make it a better mindset, a better energy, a better feeling, because I want to generate energy of a mindset where I see a challenge or I see something that formerly I hated to do, and now I look at it with a big smile, and my brain's like, oh, hell yeah, we get to go and tackle this. And, I just get this passion. So I try to turn my lacks of, I would say, motivation into passions. But I would say at first, Tanner, you're 100% right. You kind of just have to bulldoze your way through that old mindset. Um,
Well, I think it's
and,
just mostly in the beginning, right? Like in the
yeah.
beginning stages of making a change, it's almost like you kind of have to be a little delusional because everything that you're trying to change, your body is designed and your mind to remain comfortable. And anytime you shake that up, there's defense mechanisms in your mind that say, whoa, 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 what are we doing here? We're not comfortable. We're not safe. Retreat, right? And you have to overcome that because I think it translates to your business. And I think what I've started doing, and I'm fresh into this, I've been really focusing on waking up in the morning, working out, and I even added a little rider on top of that, which is a cold shower in the morning. And what I learned about that, and I've done 4 in a row, before the idea of taking a cold shower, knowing the health benefits of it, and not only that, knowing how it makes you feel afterwards, the idea behind that was like, there's 0% chance I would take a cold shower in the morning. And what I learned is that, like, if I just shut that voice off the minute before I get into the shower, instead of like war gaming back and forth 5 or 10 minutes before I'm getting ready to go into the shower, I just don't have that conversation. Okay, I store it in the back of my head. And then as soon as I'm in the shower and I'm ready to pop in there, I crank it to cold and just jump in. And then that's it. There's no thinking involved up until that point. And I think that translates to a lot of things that we're uncomfortable with, where we just got to hit that override button. How often do you hit that override button in your day, Alex? Because I know you have a lot of hardwired habits that you've really
Oh,
dove into.
my whole day is not listening to my brain and body. Um, that's why I'm so passionate about this, because I have a lot of that I've overcome and that I'm overcoming. And I know when you're overcoming a low frequency, a low energy, a low vibrancy, that's always there. That was like sometimes it's your core. You've been practicing being a certain way so long that, like, it takes years and years and years of consistent practice, slow elevations, some failures here and there, but you get to keep raising yourself up, because you can see, as you raise your frequency, energy, vibrancy, your life becomes better. Like, as I've done that for the last 5 years, my whole life, my whole existence, my whole, all my relationships, everything has become better. So I do it for my family. Like, I want to show them the best person. I want to show them boldness too, because you got to be bold. You get to be passionate in your faith, because going back to the being grateful, if you're not grateful for every little step, for every little victory, for every little awareness, hey, I'm angry right now, but I'm going to change it to be happy so that I grow. All those should make you extremely happy, because if when you're happy along the journey with all the little gratitudes, that is what allows you to make the masterpiece of your life joyful. If you're waiting for that big blessing, you're going to miss all the little ones on the way, and you're never going to be happy. That's why you see these millionaires and billionaires who you think have everything, but they're miserable, because they're always waiting for that next big deal. They're always waiting for that next thing. And then, you know, what's in the space? Like, what are you creating 95% of your life in the space before the 5% of the big blessings? So the gratitude will help you push yourself and become a higher uh, level human being. That's
There's a
the most
lot.
important thing. You gotta be grateful. You gotta pat yourself on the back. You gotta be like, and don't
Yeah.
compare yourself. If you compare yourself, don't like look at people, be inspired by people, but don't need to be that person. This person's been doing that for years. Like you just be you. If you do the workout, you're like, hell yeah, I'm better today because of the workout. When I run with 7 pound weights on each arm, and I run 5Ks in the sun. Like why? You know why? Because after 1.5 miles, I don't want to go back home. But you know what? I can't call. I mean, I could, but I can't call an Uber and just have them drive me home. I get to run my ass back home, and every step what I do, I elevate my mindset from this sucks to every step along this next mile and a half that may seem terrible is making me the most powerful person to be my best person. That's how you change perspectives on what you're doing, and what you think is, is what you don't want to do. You turn it on itself, and then you want to do it because it's helping you become the best you.
Let's talk about leadership principles. And I think one of those things is the ability to literally challenge yourself in a way that is almost like you work for you. And it's like one of those things where you are identifying in a sense of awareness that there's this voice in your head that is constantly trying to pull you down. It's almost like negative and positive polarities. And what you've seen and you've tasted is what happens when you operate on a high frequency, high energy, high vibrancy. It actually it's crazy. I mean, you can't see it until you live it, but it actually compounds in every area of your life. And there's been situations in my life, in my personal journey, to get a little bit personal, when my mom died. There was I've never had anyone pass away that close to me. And the idea of someone that close to me passing away at that point in time was abstract, because you just never think it's you. And when that happened, at I think I was 20, when that happened, I had a job selling cars. And, everything around me in that time period was crumbling. But because I had my little sister, um, counting on me, as the leader in a sense, I had to switch gears from why me to why me, right? And it wasn't like anything other than really that minute change. We talked about 1 degree in terms of the golf swing, but it can be 1 degree in terms of tonality, in terms of how you ask the questions of life. And for me, it was like, why is this happening to me, and what can I do about it now? How am I going to respond to this adversity in a way that's going to uplift everyone around me? Because it's so easy to see the outcomes of a negative thought pattern. It's so easy. What's going to happen if you start getting into a negative thought pattern. In other words, like, if I decide to be negative, I know the result. It's going to lead to complacency. It's going to lead to, broken relationships, lack of funds, lack of resources, alienated. So what the outcome is. But the cool thing about a positive mindset in the midst of adversity is you don't know what the outcomes are. You just know that they're going to be good. And you have to have faith in that. And that's what I've learned, is that, in any situation, I mean, really, I mean, that's a tough one, your mother. But in the same sense, is that I built a muscle of being able to change and shift gears of my mindset in the midst of extreme adversity. And I'm on the other side of that, and I can take that with me in every area of my life. And what I recognized, it was just a choice. And obviously that's a large scale mindset shift, but in the minute mindset shifts, I know the outcomes more and more because I've exercised this so much. And I think that's what you're saying, Alex, is that you try so hard with this mindset thing is because you've seen how it's affected your life. You've seen how it's blessed areas of your life because of the way that you've
Well,
thought
I've
and you
I've
talk
also
and you
seen how
speak.
it's torn, and you've seen how it's torn my life down from, back in the day. So I
Absolutely.
have I have that's why I'm so empathetic with people, but I definitely have a short. belt with that, allowing people to make mistakes as long as their heart's in the right place, and then really cutting the cord very quickly if I see deceit and evil in their intentions and taking advantage of my heart. One thing I did want to talk about, Tanner, that's been going on with me lately. We're trying to deep dive into reality in our lives, and so Tanner and I are people who like to grow and elevate. So I just got a new shop. So I do about 8 jobs a week. I just got a new shop. It's 2,000 square foot. It was right next to mine. I'm like, I got to do it. I was a little nervous to do it, but I'm like, I got to do it. I know I can grow to 12, 10 to 12, 12 to 14 jobs, pretty much double my business. And then still have two shops right next to each other where I can still have the control. And I was super pumped about it. Tanner, me and him were talking about it. He's like, yeah, definitely do it. He gave me some inspiration to just pull the trigger. My motto is, just go. I definitely do that a lot. With that being said, now that I'm in it, so I paid the 5 grand deposit in first month. Now all my guys are excited about it. So with this new journey, now like I get to grow. Like the reason I did is because this growth in the business is gonna make me grow to the next level as a businessman, as an all-around man. Because now I got to train the admin. Now I need the admin. All right, I could probably do the sales a little bit, but I'm gonna have to get the 2 sales guys. I'm gonna have to
So
build this.
essentially, you created what's called a hedge that
Yeah,
forces you to grow.
yeah. So with the, and now, so I got these are new added pressures, right? What people don't understand, when go for that growth and you're super excited about that journey, now I knew these things going into it, so it doesn't bother me that much because I've already been working on these things. But I've been getting a lot of, oh man, my brain's been like, can you do this? Like, look at all this work you have to do. You're gonna have to
Yeah,
do
you were
all these
comfortable.
things
We
that
were
you've
good.
been.
We were good.
Yeah,
We
we
had
were good. You're
the
making
shop.
tons of money, but now you got to do this. Now you have to do all this work. Now
Yeah.
you gotta have to get these systems. Now you gotta, get 6 more people. And I'm like, just listening to this voice. It brings you, as much as you're growing, and you're like, yes, when you don't notice, but your brain tries to manipulate you. That was trying to get me to operate once again in a sense of lack. Like, oh, you have to get all these jobs. These aren't yours yet. You have to do all this work. It was trying to tell me, I couldn't get that. Like, you've never done this. So it was bringing me to a low frequency, where then I saw it invading other parts of my life. And I had to really like sit down and relax, because when you battle your mind all day, that's just like doing a high intensity workout. Like, you're using a lot of energy. So I had to chill and relax and say, you know what? Something that Tanner says a lot: faith over fear. I go, what am I here in this world for? To sit in this corner and be okay? Like a video game, if you stay on the same level, is it that game fun anymore? That game gets boring, and then you get boring, right? But I'm like, no, I want to level up. I want to challenge my fears, and now allow me to elevate in everything else I do, you know? So I'm moving forward this, and I'm letting you all know, hey, I don't know the outcome of what's going to happen with this shop. You know, I got to drop like 15, 20 grand just to build it out. But I have faith in myself, and I'm willing to lose it all to win, with faith, with God,
What's
with
crazy though?
me.
What's crazy though is that dude, it's almost like you bought the house you couldn't afford to force you to be resourceful enough to be able to afford it. And I'm not saying you couldn't afford that, but the responsibility and the weight that's on your shoulders to get this second business up and running, which I think it is, a whole new shop, right next to your big shop, which holds 7 spray booths in it. It's the same size, isn't it?
Yeah.
Same
It's
size.
doubling the
So
business. I'm doubling the
you're
business.
literally doubling your business. And when we talked about it, I saw it as a blessing. I said, what are the chances of the person next to you leaving and
Who's
the
been there
shop?
for 8 years?
He's been there for 8 years, right? Leaving and opening the door for you to step in and expand what you're building. And the demand is there for what you're building, the brand that
Yeah.
you've built. But and it's like anyone looking at you from the outside, bro, would be like, duh. Like, why are you even asking whether or not you should have done that without even thinking? But of course, the fear creeps in. What is this going to require of me? How is it going to force me to change? And when you have those two questions in your head and you don't have the foundation behind making tough, uncomfortable decisions outside of the business realm where it affects other people and instead it's only when it affects yourself, then you're going to go to your default of what you do in your spare time. In other words, Alex gave an example of when he runs that mile and a half and he doesn't want to do it and it's uncomfortable and he thinks to himself, well, what is the outcome going to be if I do it? And the outcome he sees is that he's going to feel high energy, high frequency, high vibrancy when he comes home from that run. He's going to feel that check mark of accomplishment. But if instead his wiring was, you know what, I probably should go on a 1.5 mile run, and he gets excited for it, maybe even puts his shoes on, and he says, what is the outcome of this? And he says, I'm going to be exhausted. I'm going to probably get halfway through and be pissed off that I got to run back, or I might walk back and listen to music and be on a low frequency because I just don't feel like it. And it's like, because you do that in so many areas of your life, when it comes to a decision that affects others, it does give you that boost of confidence and faith. And I think that what you're doing in terms of the small things, when an opportunity presents itself, naturally we want to retreat. But then as you proceed, this could be a major shift in the atmosphere of your company. It's leveling everyone up. Your managers are thinking, man, this is great. The company I'm with is growing. I want to stay here. I want to
So
continue to
let me
grow.
let me cut in real quick. I want to let everyone know one thing really fast. So Tanner brought up a good point. Getting the house that you can't afford. Sometimes that helps people level up. I'm not so with this business decision. Honestly, it has nothing to do with business. I'm not doing it for anything for business. I'm doing it because I live and preach this high frequency, high energy, high vibrancy. And I know if I get another shop, I could get another 6, 7 people in there, and then I could teach them this mindset. Okay?
Love
I
it.
want to be as big as I can, not for money, not for business. I don't care about the business. I really don't. I care about how awesome my guys are becoming and how awesome the business is without me even having to really do much. But obviously, I do a lot of the sales, the management schedule, a lot of that. But dude, I don't even worry about the jobs. Like, listen to this. My guys are so like into my um, boom nominalism. One of my guys got sick this week. I already have 6 jobs going on, right? He calls Tuesday. He's like, dude, I'm not, I have a fever. I'm like, all right, you're not going in. We're not letting you go in the house. Call my manager, 8 a.m. He's like, all right, well, what are we going to do? I'm like, well, we have 3 people on this project. We're going to take one off. We have this guy training. We're going to put him on the doors. Um, I'm like, make it happen. Call everyone you need to. He calls my guy Mitchell, and he's like, Mitch, I know this is, changing what your plan was, but you need to go do the prep on this job and kind of take it over. He goes, all right, high frequency energy vibrancy, baby. and
Love
and
that.
he pumped my manager up. And
Wow.
then like we still needed help on the project. 2 guys who are gonna finish early. I'm like, hey, can you help out spraying the doors? You have the same color. He's like, yeah, just get it prepped up and bring them here and we'll do the doors. But I asked like 4 different people who had nothing to do with this job to help. Zero resistance. It was, what can I do? How can I help? How can we be the best we can be as a team? So that's what I wanted to create at Cabinet Coding Kings.
Boom.
Like, yeah, they're doing their jobs and they all know they're going to make more money, but they didn't ask how much money is it going to be. They're like, instantly, what can I do to help? How can I do it? My manager stepped in, degreasing, sanding doors so they could be ready to get painted, you know?
That's the
Um,
dream when everyone puts their hands in, right? And they see that it's more about the whole than the self, bro. It's huge.
but Tanner, in the beginning, when with my first set of crew, it would have never turned
No,
out like this. It
everyone
would have
was
been like,
competing.
how much money was it? How much money is it? Oh, I have to go do my own thing. But preaching the mindset, being the person who they see consistent every day, with the message, always helping them. Now I create this. So in my brain, because I have such a beautiful thing, I want to create more of it. If it was just money, I wouldn't have got that other shop. 0% chance. I don't care about growing a business. Who cares about business? I don't care about having the big business. Like, I don't need to prove myself to anyone. Now what I'm trying to get from the beginning. Why am I doing this business now? Why for me am I gonna be my best for this business? Like that's like when you wake up in the morning to work out. And oh, Tanner, by the way, it's 3.1 miles, not 1.5 miles, that I run. But why do I work out? Because you know why? I get to, and I work out with freaking like subliminal rain shit, not even music to pump me up, so that I hear my brain talking all its crap, and I could just sit there and be in it and elevate over it and say, no, I'm not going to listen to you. We're going to take it step by step. You were good for a time being, but your voice right now and my autopilots from before are not going to help me move forward. So I literally work out to overcome myself and my inner voice. Tanner, remember before I would work out, I was in phenomenal shape. I worked out so that I looked good. I had to I had to break that whole thing down and change why I work out, because I'm not a person of looking good anymore. I'm trying to drop the ego. So I couldn't work out to just look good at the beach. That doesn't make sense with me anymore. So I had to change why I was doing these things, because I'm a new person now. So that's the change. That's another blessing slash challenge we get to do as growing as a person. You get to change your mind on why you do things. Because if I worked out to look good, it's not going to motivate me, and I'm going to have to barrel through it. And then I'm going to start another autopilot of thinking that I have to barrel through things, and I'm going to do tasks with a low energy, low vibrancy, low
So be
frequency.
mindful of
Now,
the but here's the thing. I want to go back cuz this is good, before when you had this team of people that were not favorable. You had a few, but when you first started, you had to purge, man. I mean, we can go into that another time, but at that point, because you weren't in a growth environment, the default was two things. How much money can I make? How can I prove myself to my competitors and the people around me that I'm the best? Because there was nothing else for you to do other than your own self-development. But when it came to the business was really for you. You know, when it became a priority for you to elevate the people around you, then the motivation behind why you grew your business changed, didn't it?
yeah, I didn't. You remember, not even like 2 months ago, I'm like, yeah, I'm good here. Like I didn't feel like I was in lack and scarcity, because I didn't know if I really wanted this business. Like, what do I want this business for? I want to be my happiest person. If this business isn't making me happy, I don't want it. So I saw the growth in my guys. I saw my manager just excelling in mindset, becoming happier. These podcasts, I met a lot of awesome painters at the PCA that gave me a boost. Like, man, there's a lot of phenomenal people out here, who have great mindsets, but maybe aren't practicing this sort of mindset of inner healing and being the best they can inside on a high frequency energy vibrancy. And I could really speak this out to a whole nother audience to help them, in why they're doing things. So you need to really get out of, like you said, selfishness, doing it for yourself. Figure out why you want to do it for a bigger purpose. And then it's not on if you want to work out, if you want to grow the business, if you're out of the freaking picture. And I'll say you're out of the fucking picture. I had to say it one time. All
I
right?
love it,
You're out of
man.
the
I love
picture
it.
at that point because you're selfless. And the funny thing is, the more you're giving at that point to the whole, you're going to become so much better. You're going to get so much more when you start doing things for a bigger purpose than just you, because then it's not like you said, Tanner, it's not just you. Your little sister needed you. It's not me. I have that. I get
Yeah.
to do it for
Every
her.
time that I have leveled up in my mind, my business, things that, like you said, I don't even really care. I mean, I care more about the growth opportunity for the people that chose to work for me. It was because my motivation was greater than my own self. I needed to level up for my sister. I needed to level up for my teammates. Um, but listen, man, this was jam packed. I love it, man. Another Mindset Monday in the books. Any final thoughts, man, before we head out?
You just remember, believe in yourself. Think outside yourself. This is a universe with hundreds of thousands of galaxies. We're just a little person on a little dot in this whole universe. So we weren't made to act for ourselves. We were made for a bigger purpose. So the bigger we think with a group, with a audience in mind, the more you'll be able to accomplish, because you'll have to grow, you'll have to be your best. And then just remember, be your highest frequency, energy, vibrancy in your own life capacity. Don't try to compare yourself, or then that lack and scarcity is going to come in, because you're going to see, man, I don't have that body. Oh, I don't have that much money. Man, I don't have his business. No, you start becoming your best slowly every day. Be patient. Oh, start where you're starting from. That's the only thing you could do. Now you have awareness. So now you're accountable for how you step forward in your life. Be the best you can, smile, be grateful for the air you can breathe. Little things like that will start your improvement. And then you'll see a year from now, if you're consistent in this high energy, high frequency, high vibrancy of being your best and being okay with the little, failures slash I call blessings, because those are what teach us the most.
That's right.
You're going to be absolutely phenomenal in a year, and
Boom
then it's just
nominal.
going to keep growing. Boom, nominal, baby. That's right.
All right, brother. Thanks again for the talk, man. Mindset Monday. We'll see you next week.
All right, bye.
Thank you so much for checking out that Mindset Monday. We hope to see you back next Monday for another Power Pack episode of Mindset. Now, as we transition, I would love to share with you something that we've been working on hard, which are these pro spotlights that people who are using Dripjobs have volunteered their time to come in, share a little bit about how it's helping their business. So if you want to stick around and listen to another pro spotlight, check this one out coming up right now. What's up, everyone? I'm here with my good friend Danny V, Atlanta. Him and I shared some good time at the PCA Expo, but we've been friends before that. He actually came on a business breakthrough at one point in time. We went over sales and some other good things. He is a very, very professional at this point, Dripjobs user. You've been using it now for about 6-7 months, and you've agreed to do this little spotlight, and this is really just to showcase what it is. Really, it's a direct help for me so I can continue to get Dripjobs as many people's hands as possible, bro. So tell me, before you signed up, man, what was the apprehension, and did Dripjobs exceed your expectations?
Yeah, definitely, absolutely, man. I didn't have any type of system, any type of software, so I had no idea what to expect, to be honest with you. And I was just like, hey, when I read about it, when I heard you talking about it, through podcast, or through the group, on Facebook, I was just like, maybe I need to give it a try. Let me try to see what it's all about, and if it's worth my investment. So you know, I just kind of took that leap, man, and I was like, let's go, let's do it.
Now, in retrospect, that was a good question. But now, when you look back, you know, and what's going on now, would you say that it's been worth the investment?
Oh man, it's absolutely, man. I mean, without a doubt, like I always say, it totally changed the way it changed my life, the business, and the way I do things. The face of the company, you know, looks more professional. Um, Keeping everything in, you know, structured, organization,
Yeah.
uh, and so, you know, just so it's a friendly user, man. It's easy to use once you get the hang of it. And after that is, you know,
Cake.
it's just easy. Yeah, man, it's cake, man. So
Yeah.
so I'm enjoying it, man. And I mean, there's so much I can say, man. I definitely encourage people to really invest in it, man. It's a really, really good investment for your business.
Let me ask you this: has it helped you sell more jobs?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, the
I so there's a few things that I learned. I catch a few things from you as well. So before I got Drip Jobs, I was doing quotes when I got home after a long day of work. And now I don't leave the homeowner's house
there you
with
go.
without me finishing that quote and presenting it to them and potentially selling it. So now I don't come home
I love
looking
that.
into doing quotes. So I would say that was one of my biggest things. And man, it dreaded on me. I'm like, man, I gotta go home and do these quotes. Now it's just like I enjoy doing quotes on the spot. I got drip jobs, you know what I mean? It's gonna take me 15, 20 minutes, do this quote and let's sell it. And I
And
don't
the
have to worry about it.
customers love that, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. They're like,
Even if it's
oh
a high price, but they just love the idea. Like when you tell them, like, "Oh, I'm gonna go in the car and work up your quote for you," they're like, "Really?"
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. They were like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah, I'll be right back. I'm just getting in my truck, work the quote out. We're going to discuss it. And I've been able to get more jobs, definitely
Hundred
selling
percent,
them on the spot.
100%. It's gonna happen. So we wanted to make. So do you have people? Are you using it on the iPad when you do it?
So I always carry, for some reason, I always carry my Mac to do to
That's
do
good.
it while I'm doing it on in my truck, and then I'll take my iPad with me and have them sign on there
Love that.
and
Yeah.
whatnot. So I use
That's
both
good.
of them.
That's
Yeah,
good, man. So
yeah.
last part of this, man, you know, dude, thank you first for showcasing the value. But if somebody's listening to this and they're like, man, I just, I can't see paying $147 a month for software, right? Like to the average consumer in comparison to like Joist, which is like cheap as dirt, and some of the other things. What would you say to that person about the 147?
Man, if to look at it from my perspective, I would be like, hey, man, look at 147 divided by how many jobs you get in the month. And before you know it, it's just like, okay, $10. This goes $10 towards drip jobs. And before you know it, I mean, it's paid within the month. And I mean, literally, or if you want to count one job, you can pay with one job, you can pay drip jobs, to be
Well,
honest with you.
honestly, if it's a good size job, you could pay for drip jobs for 3 years.
There you
Uh,
go. Yeah.
if Drip Jobs picked up a job that you wouldn't have otherwise gotten through maybe an automated message that went out 2-3 weeks later.
Mhm.
There's so much here, man. But Danny, dude, this is great. I think somebody listening to this probably got some value. You're the man as always, one of our biggest Drip Jobs fans. And
Thanks,
good.
man.
I appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. Anytime, man. I mean,